Hello everybody, welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith 1030, our solve count. We're still here in the compasses. We're making reasonable progress, if I do say so myself. Let's jump on this 5, shall we? Range 5 to 8. So hypothetically, that could be an 8, which is interesting, but probably not correct, but who knows. We've got lots of these matching facing pairs, which is very interesting. But aside from that, we don't have lots to go on here. I feel like the compass puzzles that are on an exact square feel like they're a little more difficult than the ones where you kind of have lobs and lobes to have specific counts and stuff. Five to 8. So this can't do this, right? Because we need to get to at least 5. And this would have to go in a way that is going to make somebody unhappy to get to 5, I think. I can't see any way where this gets to 5 and both of them are happy. Begs the question then, how is this getting 2 to the left and this getting 2 to the right without being in each other's way? Because it's going to have to go a long way around to get to 2. Oh god, but it's range 5 to 8, so we can't even do humongous loopy stuff. I can't see how that's going to work at all. That would be 5. And that would be 8. And the 4 is happy. And in lieu of not being able to see any other way to resolve that, I don't hate it. So by the logic that we couldn't make this work connected, I'm guessing that this is going to be some version of this, where all of these pairs are going to have geometry that has to stretch around other stuff. Now, these can't share a region. That's way too big. This 3 is not so much a problem, because we could do something like that, and everyone's happy. But this 4, that has to get out of there. It has to get to range 5. Unless my I mean, we could do an 8 like this, right? That would be a valid way to do that. So maybe we don't have to have the lines up for everything. That gets the 5 done and the 2 done. This 3 and 5 can't exist together, though. That would be 3. Is there any way this can be right. Doesn't feel great looking at how this now isn't resolved. That's okay, but it leaves this unable to be resolved. Is there any other way I can do this grouping of 4? I guess it could be this as well, which then does give me kind of another out to get 1, 2, 3. It'd end up being something like that. Or is there any way that could ever work? Because this down here is still a huge problem. This guy needs 5 on its right, and it's just not going to get them like that. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we can't do that. Can do that, but this then is completely blocked out. Can we do any more to cull the shape of this in different... We could do it that way. Just take all of this, put it over there. That probably gives me way more to work with. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's too big. So that you get that 5, but you can't take another 5. But any other way to do this? I don't see it, if there is. There's going to be some level of staircasing for this, I think. I'm just uncertain as to what that exact level is going to be. This feels better because then this can get out some way. But this 5 and this 3 cannot exist together like this. It's then begging questions about the confidence in this structure. So I couldn't find any way to make this work. Yeah, so that can't work as a 2x2. Here's a question. No, because you have to be a range 5. Yes. Would it ever be... Hold on. No, you need the 2 to the left. That's why this reached out so far. Yeah, this is okay. All right. I will take the foundational hint here. Did I put on my end screen by mistake? I hope there wasn't tons of that. lost the recording. It's going to be interesting to go back and see. Either way, this is correct. So, these can't exist together because where these were 2 and 2 making 4, which is not range 5, these taking 5 and 5 together makes 10, which can't be. So that gets a line. That could be a thing, doing it that way. 1, 2, 3. It would have to be that, but I don't think this is going to play well with that, is it? Maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's that. Oh. Maybe it's that. How do you get 5 to the left of you? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5? Is it just that? And then this is the last zone? Because that's happy with 3, that's happy with 3, that's happy with 5. Hey! Cool. What else we got? 4. Oh god, another 4. A 2? Oh god. Sure. You are 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay. You have to be bigger than 1. That has to have a line. How are you? Oh, I guess you do it. I was like, how are you doing 2? But I guess we're doing that. You have to be bigger than 1. You have to be bigger than 1. Is there any reason? Yes, there is a reason that those can't be together. You have to be bigger than 1. You could take that, I guess. That wouldn't do any harm. That has to have a line. You have to get out. You also have to get out. Alright. Never my favourite mechanic, but hey, good grief. This guy just hiding through this pillar with this tree. What else is hiding? A 3? I'll take a cheeky 3. Mismatch. Well, you're a 1. I don't know why you are showing 0 to the right when you can't have 0 to the right. All regions must have different shapes. So, this is our 1. That is that, because it can't literally go out any other directions. This can take up so much of this left-hand side space. Who's this going to belong to, though? Because it can't be this. But this can't be a 1. Oh, it could be the 2. Then you need 1 down, 1 up. I didn't see the 0 here. So we can't have those two being the same shape. Who do you belong to? Right, I biffed somewhere, clearly. You can't really do that. That feels better. You'd have to have that one, because if you have that one, you leave a single. You have to have that one. Oh, you could be... No, you can't be a 2. If you're a... We got the 1, we got the 2. That looks like it wants to be a 3 straight line. Because we can't have that one there. Let me cut this back because it's not hard to get back to things that I'm certain of. Still don't know why you have a 0 over there. Maybe just for the symmetry of this being the same, this being the same, this being the same, this being the same, and that being the same in pairs. I suppose. That could be that instead, couldn't it? But not really. Oh. There's our 2 then. Is that gonna change our realistic capabilities of what can occur now? So we can't have a 1. This has to get out. We can't have a 2. Can't take that. Has to go over. We can't have that shape. We've used it already. But this needs 1 that it can go down to. And then all of this falls apart. Because that would be new. But this can't do that. Hold on. Hold on. Hey, we could just shunt that over. Cool. 34 of 66. Whoa. We are halfway towards there. Wherever there might be. Solitude. I feel like I've done this puzzle before. But it was probably just a similar one. It's so interesting that there's so much empty space between here and there. Doing this guy, I just have flashbacks to. Right, something else. Something else. There's a 3, there's a 5. Shape bank is a nice limitation that generally plays well with my brain. So, this has to have a shape. A shape that can have 3 on the right of it, 2 below of it, and 1 of it, think that would have to be this shape. Because otherwise, that doesn't hit any part of it. That can't be it. And that can't be it. So 3 with 1 and 2. Put a box around it. Then what do we do? Something out of those with this. Oh, it's that. Which means to get through here, that has to do that. A shape with a single one would be... Oh, no. Excuse me. Excuse me. This? Because it can't be that. That's no good, though. That's no good. I don't love that. But this was fine, this was fine. That's the only way to get out of there. This could be that, it could be that, it could be that, it could be that, it could be that. So... But it can't be this one because we can't have it too long out of the side piece, but you know, you get me. Does this have to be this? Can't be that, can't be that. Can't be that. I think it does have to be that. But no, that works. I was about to say that leaves an impossible void, but no. Okay, just this left. Nice. Happy with that. 4, 7, 6, 3. Trying to save some of the easier stuff to refresh my brain with on other days. This is a very interesting chain of puzzles. Northeast, southwest, very cute. Solitude with... So, every region's going to have a single thing. But we have to get that out, that out, that out, that out. They can't touch, so they have to get out. Same is going to be true of those, and this and this. So, it's a decent chunk of starting out. Then what is the real question? This is kind of a confined corner, but in making that observation you realise that actually... No, because this can go up, but then also around. Not so much this symbol specifically, but like something could hypothetically do all of this, but not cross these barriers. Except I could cross that barrier. You know what I really appreciate in these compass levels? A lack of watchtowers and loopy and bricky. I really appreciate that. Okay. This cannot touch that. Gets a line. Those can have a line. That can have a line. this guy has to touch somebody, so it has to get out, and that has to get out. This has to get out towards somebody. It's not going to be this one or this one. It's going to be somebody else. Not that one. Not that one. I think it's going to have to be this one. I think for how much space it has to cover, that's the only one it could reach for its dimensions, because it can't touch that. It's got more than 2 on the right of here. By the time it's stretched to this 4, it would have more than 4 above it. But then how would this get out? Because that can't touch that. That is an interesting problem for sure. Excuse me while I cleared my throat. That can't touch that. That gets a line that has to come out and across. That can't do that. That gets a line. That has to come to here and there, and that's a thing. That's a block. Because it can't trespass into this, and it can't gain any more volume, which means this has to come out through here. That's looking like it's going to be a real big guy. Yeah, this here, I'm going to just reaffirm this to myself. That has to get out. That has to get out. Draw a line. That has to get out. That has to get out. Draw a line. This can't take this. Draw a line. That has to get out higher. Candidates for what this touches as its solitude thing. Not this. Not this by the time I reach it. Not this by the time I reach it. Not that by the time I reach it. So it'd have to be this one or this one. So let's do some color coding here. So this has to touch one of these 2 things. Either it would have to go left under all of this and touch that. It could take this along with it. That would go to 4. That would get 2. I'm not hating this right now, because the other option was going to be that it would take this and go around to this guy. This does not feel like it's doing very much, but also I've seen things do less before. That's how you take 2 to the left. That would have to take... Yeah, that can't take that, so that would have to take that. I'm going to play this out, even though obviously we bifurcated when we decided whether we would go down to this one or up to that one. Except now we have a new problem, which is, who does this belong to? Because it can't belong to that, and it can't belong to that, and this doesn't go to anything. So, with that in mind, I think we are not playing that out any further than we just did. Which would mean it coming out this way. But it can't touch that without leaving that behind it. So now, slightly baffled. Lacking ways forward with what we have. Could do a check progress just to make sure that everything that we have is valid. But like, that's fine, that's fine. This is fine. That was okay, that's okay. Is this possibly is not okay, but it feels really good. So I'm 93.5% confident that this is fine. So let's not check progress yet. But where is this going? Is it doing something like this? But then that blocks in this guy, so that can't be it. Maybe it's that? But then this 2 can't take any 2 left at all. Now I'm feeling less great about a lot of this. So this side over here was... This has to get out, this has to get out. They can't share a line. This has to get out, this has to get out. They can't share a line. You have to go up, you have to come down. You can't take that. You have to come down. You have to get out. You can't take that. Which means this can't take that. That ends up like that. This goes down. That can't take that. That gets to there. And this is basically where we were. So this is fine. This is clean. It's just finding my next thing that is sound in logic and doesn't end up just breaking everything when I try. Because obviously we've been discussing tiles have to get out to somewhere for the sake of solitude. We can't have empty regions. You can't take that, so you get lines. You have to get out, you have to go up. You have to get out. This could just be this small, which would leave that taking 2. That going over there. That would be what that gets. And this has to expand out further to get to 4. Did we do this already? Maybe we didn't. So this becomes another small region, this becomes another small region. Maybe the trap is thinking that the X's are going to be part of really big regions. This is going to have to go to here. Because it can't take that one. This needs to find 4 going down. This needs to find 4 going up. I'm feeling more okay about this. It's just figuring out now where to lock in next. This can't take that, so it has to get past. That means this has to take those, lock that in. That means this has to come down. Don't know what it's doing with this yet. That can pick up those to go to 4, which means that can come out, which would pick up that, this, and this, and that would be a region. Can we smush this into here? I think we probably can. I just have to figure out the geometry of who gets what. Except this doesn't have a symbol. Can't do that. I can't do that. So that can't go to there or there. Oh, well, no. I was going to say this could just take that, but it can't. Oh. That takes those. That gets the 2 above there. That's better. That's 4. How do you guys both get 4 out of these 6? That doesn't make any sense for what remains. Oh, you have these 3 already. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. That was a great puzzle. How I didn't see that this line already had 1, 2, 3, and then this was just the 4th one. I was out trying to make a count work that didn't need to count. That was a really nice 5. I'm very happy with that one. For now, thank you guys ever so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.